Most Ram trucks get scrapped before 250,000 miles. Mine hit 500. I'm Buck, 12 years a Mopar dealer tech. The difference isn't the truck, it's what owners never service until it's too late. My truck is a 2007 Ram 1500 5.7 HEMI 4-wheel drive regular cab. I've owned it since it had 32,000 miles on the clock. 504,000 miles now, original engine, original transmission, original transfer case, same frame, same axles, same truck. The interior shows it, the paint shows it, the bed has hauled enough lumber and gravel to build a small house, but it starts every morning, pulls a trailer every weekend it's asked to, and runs the same way it did when I drove it home. People at the shop don't believe the odometer until I pop the hood and show them the original casting numbers. They expect a rebuild, a swap, some secret. There's no secret. There's a glove box full of receipts and a man who never once told himself a maintenance item could wait. I want to be clear about something before I go further. 500,000 miles didn't happen by accident. I rebuilt the lifters preventively at 195,000 miles, caught the wear early on a teardown inspection, swapped them before they took the cam with them. Cost me $1,100 at the time. Would have cost me $8,000 if I'd waited for the failure to announce itself. I've replaced the water pump twice, the alternator once, the radiator at 340,000 miles. The transmission has been serviced 6 times, every fluid and filter change documented in a binder I keep in the glove box. This wasn't a lucky truck. It was a maintained one. And the difference between mine sitting in my driveway tonight and the same model year HEMI sitting in a junkyard somewhere with 180,000 miles isn't engineering. It's habits. I want to walk you through what kills these trucks first, because if you don't understand the failure pattern, no maintenance protocol in the world will save yours. The number one reason Ram 1500s end up in a junkyard isn't the engine, it's the transmission. I've watched this play out hundreds of times in my shop. A truck rolls in at 180,000 miles. Engine runs clean, no leaks, no smoke, compression numbers within spec across all 8 cylinders. But the transmission slips between second and third, shutters under load, throws a code the owner has been ignoring for 6 months. The diagnosis is a complete rebuild, $3,000 to $5,000, depending on which transmission and how bad the damage is. The owner does the math. The truck books for $12,000. The rebuild costs $5,000. Add taxes, add aftermarket warranty, add the loaner he's going to need for 2 weeks while the work gets done, and he's almost halfway to a down payment on something newer. So he walks. The truck gets traded in, sold at auction, sent to a salvage yard. A truck with a perfectly healthy engine that could have run another 200,000 miles gets scrapped because the transmission underneath it gave up first. That's the conversation I have at my counter every month. And every single time, the same root cause shows up in the maintenance history. The fluid was never changed. Chrysler calls the transmission fluid lifetime fill, and most owners take that at face value. Lifetime means the life of the powertrain warranty, 100,000 miles. After that, the fluid degrades, the friction modifiers break down, the clutch packs start glazing, and the valve body starts wearing prematurely. The 545 RF, the 65 RF, the ZF 8-speed in the half-tons, the 68 RF behind the Cummins in the heavy-duty trucks, every automatic Chrysler ever bolted to a Ram dies the same way when the fluid never gets touched. The fluid that was supposed to last forever doesn't, and the transmission goes with it. Let me put a face on it. A few years back, a man brought me a 1500 he'd bought new HEMI, 65 RF behind it, the truck he towed his boat to the lake with every summer and loaded for work all week. Never serviced the transmission once, because the salesman told him the fluid was filled for life. He rolled in at 191,000 miles with a shutter in third and a code he'd been clearing for half a year. I dropped the pan and the fluid came out the color of old coffee and smelled like a campfire. Clutch packs glazed, overdrive slipping, valve body scored. The rebuild quote was $4,400. His truck booked for $11,000. He stood at my counter, did the math, shook his head, and 2 weeks later he traded it on a payment he didn't want. That HEMI had 200,000 good miles left in it. A $40 quart of fluid, changed on a schedule, would have saved the whole truck. The cooling system is the second silent killer. Holt Coolant, the orange Formula Chrysler used through 2012, is rated for 5 years and 100,000 miles on the bottle. If you drive a 2013 or newer Ram, you've got the purple oat coolant instead, rated for 10 years and 150,000, but never mix the two, because the chemistry turns to gel and blocks your cooling system solid. Whichever one you run, the corrosion inhibitors inside don't last as long as the label promises. They start losing their bite around 60,000 miles. Once those inhibitors degrade, the aluminum components start corroding from the inside. The water pump impeller pits. The radiator end tanks erode. It happens slowly, invisibly, over years. Then one day the water pump finally fails on a summer highway. The engine spikes to 260 degrees before the driver sees it, and the head gasket blows. Or the head itself warps. Aluminum heads on a HEMI don't tolerate sustained overheating. One bad event is enough. The repair bill lands somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. A complete coolant service that would have prevented every step of that chain costs $150 and takes an hour. The math isn't complicated. The discipline is. I had a widow bring me her late husband's HEMI last spring. Sentimental truck, low miles under 100,000, and she wanted it to outlive her. Looked spotless on the outside, but the coolant was the factory orange. 11 years old, never touched. I had her walk back to the bay and look down the radiator neck herself. Crusted, the inhibitors gone for years, the aluminum already weeping at the timing cover. She'd been driving a slow chemistry reaction and didn't know it. We caught it in time barely. One more summer and that water pump lets go on the interstate and takes the head gasket with it. A $150 service she'd never heard of nearly cost her an $8,000 engine on a truck that hadn't even hit 100,000 miles. Oil neglect kills engines in a slower, more predictable way, and I'm not going to walk through every detail of MD's lifter wear or oil viscosity, because I've covered that thoroughly on this channel already. What I will say is this: the dashboard oil life monitor is a CAFE compliance calculation, not a sensor. It tells you what Chrysler wants the fleet average to be. It doesn't know how your specific truck is being driven. Trust it. Stretch your oil intervals, run the wrong viscosity, and the engine wears out from the inside. Same pattern, same result. Every time. I had a fleet guy who let the monitor ride to 11 and 12,000 miles between changes because the dash said he had life left. By 140,000, the lifters were ticking and the bearings were singing. The monitor never lied to him exactly, it just never knew his truck idled half its life and ran cheap oil. It was doing fleet average math on a truck that lived nothing like the average. The fourth killer is the one nobody puts on a maintenance schedule because it doesn't have one. The cascade. A $40 part fails. The owner sees it, hears it, smells it, but it's not urgent, so it gets pushed to next month. Next month becomes next year. The $40 water pump that started weeping coolant 6 months ago finally lets go on the interstate. The cooling system loses pressure in 8 seconds. The engine cooks. $40 becomes $4,000. A U-joint clicks during a turn at 190,000 miles. The owner notes it, plans to fix it, drives 60,000 more miles, with that click getting worse until the drive shaft drops at highway speed. And now the transmission tail shaft is destroyed and the rear differential pinion is damaged. $20 becomes $2,000. The one that still sticks with me was a regular good man, drove a HEMI he loved. Came in for an oil change and I caught a U-joint just starting to click. $40, 20 minutes. I told him, let me knock it out while it's on the lift. He said he'd swing back next month. He didn't. 8 months later, that drive shaft dropped at 70 on the interstate, punched clean through the transmission tail shaft housing, and bent the rear pinion. The tow was $300. The repair was $3,200. A $40 U-joint became a $3,200 disaster because next month never came. That's the cascade in one story. This is how trucks die. not from a single catastrophic event, from a string of small failures that were ignored until they reached the part that wasn't replaceable for under $5,000. The truck didn't fail. The owner failed to fix the truck when it was cheap to fix. If that hits close to home, hit subscribe and drop a comment below telling me the highest mileage you've ever put on a Ram. I want to see how far you've taken yours. Now here's the protocol that took mine to 500,000. It isn't complicated, it's just relentless. Oil at 5,000 miles, full synthetic, every time. 5W30 on the HEMI 5W20 is approved on paper for fuel economy compliance, but 5W30 maintains the oil film thickness the lifters and the cam lobes actually need at operating temperature. Mopar specification MS 6395. 7 quarts with a filter change. The filter matters Mopar OM, Wix, or Fram Ultra. Cheap economy filters don't catch the wear particles that destroy lifter bores and bearing surfaces. 5,000 miles, no exceptions, regardless of what the dashboard says. That's the foundation. Everything else builds on it. Transmission fluid and filter every 30,000 to 60,000 miles. This is the habit 90% of Ram owners skip, and it's the single biggest reason their trucks get scrapped before 250,000. Drain and fill, drop the pan, replace the filter, refill with the correct fluid. And the correct fluid is non-negotiable. For older RFA transmissions, that's Mopar ATF +4. For the ZF 8-speed in modern Rams, that's ZF Lifeguard 8, specification 682189255 AA. The two fluids are not interchangeable. Putting ATF +4 into a ZF 8-speed will destroy the valve body and clutch packs within a few thousand miles. I watched it happen to a customer who'd had his fluid done at a quick lube. The kid there grabbed the ATF +4 because that's what every other Mopar on the rack took, and the labels look close enough. 18,000 miles later, the 8-speed was harsh shifting and flaring. By the time it got to me, the clutch packs were cooked. $3,800 to make right what a 5-minute look at the spec number would have prevented. Verify what goes into your transmission. Read the specification number on the bottle yourself. The wrong fluid kills a new transmission faster than mileage ever will. And if you tow, cut the interval in half, 30,000, not 60. Towing heat is what cooks fluid fastest, and the trucks that pull trailers are the ones that need the service most and get it least. A pan drop with a new filter is worth 10 of those quick lube fluid exchanges that never touch what's trapped in the pan. Cooling system service every 60,000 miles. Complete drain, not a top-off, not a partial flush. Drain the radiator, drain the block, refill with the correct formulation for your year HOT on the older trucks, the purple OAT on 2013 and newer. Never combine HOT with OAT. Never mix in conventional green coolant. Chemical incompatibility creates gel deposits that block circulation entirely. Materials cost $80 to $120. The work takes 1 hour. The engine you save is the one Chrysler can't replace for under $8,000. On the HEMI, the goal is keeping MDs from cycling, because that cycling is the lifter killer. On my 07, tow haul mode does it press that button and MDs stays out of the picture, and I've got it engaged 90% of the time I'm behind the wheel. But here's what trips up owners of the newer trucks. On the 8-speed Rams, tow haul alone won't reliably shut MDs down. On those, you use the gear limit buttons on the steering wheel to hold it in the top gear, and that's what keeps it locked in V8 mode. Either way, you give up a mile or two per gallon, and you buy back 50 to 100,000 miles of engine life. My HEMI crossed 500,000 in part because MDs barely activated for 400,000 of them. Give it 30 seconds before you drive it. Cold oil is thick, and the first moments after a cold start are when most engine wear happens before the oil reaches the top of the heads and the lifters. You don't need to sit there 10 minutes warming it up like your grandfather did. 30 seconds of idle to get oil pressure up, then drive it gently until the temperature needle moves off the peg. In winter, that one habit alone adds years to an engine. The trucks I see, worn out early, almost all belong to someone who fired it up and stood on it in the same breath. Fix the $40 part on the day you find it. The owners whose trucks reach 500,000 miles aren't the ones who maintain on a schedule, they're the ones who address every small failure the moment they notice it. Coolant weep at the water pump? Replace the water pump that weekend. Click in a U-joint? Grease it that night, replace it within the month. Worn spark plug wire? Order the set, swap them all out next Saturday. Small failures stay small only when they get addressed immediately. Every truck I've sent to the scrapyard had a list of $200 repairs that became $20,000 problems because they were ignored. Know when to intervene preventively. This is where most owners get it wrong, and where the difference between 200,000 miles and 500,000 really lies. I pulled my valve covers at 195,000 miles to inspect the lifters, not because anything was wrong, but because that's the mileage where the data says lifter wear becomes detectable. The rollers showed the early stages of pitting, not failed yet, not noisy yet, but on the trajectory toward failure within another 40,000 miles. I replaced all 16 lifters and the camshaft preventively. $1,100 in parts and a weekend in my own bay. That decision saved me an $8,000 engine replacement and another 280,000 miles of running on the original block. Preventive intervention isn't paranoia. It's the math of saving thousands by spending hundreds before the failure happens. The trick is knowing the mileage windows where each part starts to go lifters around 200,000 on a HEMI, water pumps every 100 to 150,000, the radiator somewhere past 300. You don't wait for the noise. You open it up on schedule, look, and replace what's on the way out while it's still a planned repair instead of a tow truck and a ruined weekend. The mindset that ties everything together is this: your truck is a system, not an engine. The component with the worst maintenance sets the ceiling for how long the truck survives. It doesn't matter if your HEMI could run 500,000 miles if the transmission gives up at 180. It doesn't matter if your engine is bulletproof if the cooling system corrodes through. It doesn't matter how strong the drivetrain is if every small failure gets deferred until it cascades into something terminal. The owners whose trucks reach 500,000 miles aren't lucky. They're disciplined. It's the same truck, the same engine, the same transmission, the same factory the next guys came out of. Two completely different endings, decided by nothing but who was willing to do the work. If you start anywhere, start with the transmission. It's the part every Ram owner ignores, and it's the part most likely to send your truck to the junkyard with a healthy engine in the bay. Next week, I'm covering the 5 Ram modifications that actually make these trucks run better, the ones the dealers don't want bolted on. But every long-haul Ram in this country has at least one of. Subscribe so you don't miss it. That's it from the shop. See you then.